Hello, welcome back to the James Ramblin' Reviews for yet another episode, and in today's episode I've actually got something a bit different for you, because usually on the review show I talk about movies and TV shows. I don't really dabble into video games much, so if you're unaware, right, I do occasionally do these video game reviews, but I did put out this community tab post where I was talking about how I'm going to be doing a Call of Duty Black Ops campaign kind of marathon thing where I do a review throughout 2024 discussing my thoughts on Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, not Black Ops 4 because it doesn't have a campaign, and Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which is actually Black Ops 5, and that is because Black Ops 6 is coming out on October 25th, and I'll leave it at that. So I'll get straight into the context of how I come into these sorts of things, my perspective on Call of Duty, and I can give you my thoughts on the campaign and stuff like that. So pretty much when it comes to Call of Duty, I'm somebody that actually grew up with an Xbox 360 playing Black Ops 2 day in and day out, man. It was my jam for the longest time. There was Black Ops 3, but then I just wasn't really a big fan of stuff like Infinite Warfare and all these games where they're going to space and not boots on the ground and all this stuff that's just not as simple as it used to be. Because for example, right, nowadays with Call of Duty, I've heard about how they've turned it into this battle royale, over monetized thing where there's season passes, battle passes, or you have to buy this thing to progress, or you have to do this, you have to buy the microtransactions, oh my god, you have to get all this thing, blah 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 blah, and you have to download 200 megabytes onto your console. But back in the day, Xbox and all that kind of stuff on your Xbox, you play Black Ops, plug in and play, and it's right there, and so it's changed for the long run, and so that's where I stand on it. And so when it comes to Black Ops the original, I've never really played the campaign as a whole. Now I've only played like the Black Ops 2 campaign, Black Ops 3 and Black Ops Cold War, but when I started to play this game, I was just feeling it, man. Like, I'll get into the plot right now, because I've been sitting on this game for the past 4 or 5 days, 3 or 4 days, I really don't know. I've just been really wanting to think about this and really discuss my thoughts. So without further ado, Call of Duty Black Ops is a game from 2010 where we are boots on the ground, simple as it can be, a fun campaign where you're playing as Alex Mason, who's this guy that's pretty much being brainwashed. He's in this room, he's like, there's all these numbers and he's confused, and so throughout this sort of campaign you try and remember what he is going through. You get to see how the plot unfolds. You've got this guy called Reznov in the mix, you've got all these Russian bad guys in the Soviet USSR and all that kind of stuff, and it's set during the 60s, during the Cold War, and then you've got John F. Kennedy in this, and there's all of this kind of stuff that's kind of intertwined into that. And for me personally, as somebody that was kind of familiarised with Black Ops 2 because Alex Mason was in Black Ops 2, and I was like, how? Oh, I see how that kind of connects. For somebody like me, I had an absolute blast playing this campaign. There's also a really good soundtrack where you hear this epic, like really hype music, especially this one track called Mac V that plays towards the end of the game where you do this mission, and it's just so awesome, and there's so much high stakes where you can just feel the tension rising as you figure out and you unravel the pieces of this conspiracy about the government and things of that nature. And I would honestly say that this is one of the best gaming experiences I've had in a while. Like, there's not many games that I've actually enjoyed. Like, there's franchises that I stick towards and I really enjoy, but a lot of games, they aren't always the greatest because, you know, it's a different time we live in, it's all online, it's all digital, so you're not expecting it to be a masterpiece. But this was just a masterpiece from the get-go. It was awesome. It's just a really awesome campaign. You also had Frank Woods and stuff like that, right? So if I was to give this a rating out of 10, I honestly, what I would love to not, like, there's sometimes where I try not to be biased, but in this situation, because this is a Call of Duty from back in the day where it was simple and it was boots on the ground and stuff like that, I would give this a 10 out of 10. This is some of the best stuff I've ever played in my life. I'm not even going to joke about it, right? Like, just everything that ties in and it just makes sense, and of course, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, there are some people out there that say, oh, Call of Duty is just playable propaganda and stuff like that, and it definitely is. And honestly, right, if Michael Bay ever watches this video, you better direct a live action remake of Call of Duty, because this feels like an action packed, silly, over the top 1980s flick where these guys are jumping through the walls, shooting the enemies in slow motion. It's just a blast. So I would love to go on and on and on and on about this game, though. There's so much about it, but I've just been sitting on it for the past 5 or 6 days or something like that, and just whipping out that Xbox 360 again just brings back to a good old simple time in video game history where you didn't have to wait 3 odd days to download Call of Duty Black Ops 6, because yes, I had to do that and it was annoying. And so yeah, that is kind of my review of this game. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review. It's a different kind of format where I'm talking about a video game that I've not really talked about, but I do have a passion towards. That's what I'm going to be aiming for, just passionate reviews non-stop. So yeah, see you next time for another review on the James Ramblin' Reviews and stuff like that. Stay tuned for Black Ops 2 and stuff, and then we'll review other stuff. I'm not just going to be reviewing Black Ops games. We'll mix it up every single time. Make sure you're interested and stuff like that. So yeah, see you next week and whatever. Bye.